Have you ever thought of what keeps your body upright, moving, and protected? Well, it's your skeletal system, and it is the foundation of your body.
But it's not just about bones. The skeletal system plays a crucial role in movement, protection, blood reduction, and even mineral storage. Today, we'll explore about the different parts, functions, and how to keep your bones healthy.
The skeletal system is a complex framework consisting of bones, ligaments, cartilage, and joints that provide structure, facilitates movement, and protects vital organs. It consists of 206 bones in adults and is divided into two major parts: the axial and the appendicular skeletal system. The axial skeletal system is the central structure, including the skull, vertebral columns, ribs, and sternum. The appendicular skeletal system, on the other hand, are the limbs and their connection to the axial skeleton, including the arms, legs, pelvis, and shoulder girdle.
Before we dive deeper to the two major parts of the skeletal system, let's first tackle bones, joints, ligaments, and cartilage. Let's begin with the bones, the very foundation of our structure. Not all bones are created equal. They come in different shapes and serve different purposes. Long bones like the femur and humerus act as levers, making movement possible and bearing the weight of our body. Meanwhile, short bones such as the carpals and tarsals provide stability, ensuring our wrists and ankles remain strong yet flexible. Flat bones like the skull, ribs, and sternum act as shields, protecting delicate organs such as the brain, heart, and lungs. Then we have irregular bones, including the vertebrae and facial bones, uniquely shaped to provide structure, support, and protection. And finally, let's not forget sesamoid bones, like the patella, which are embedded in tendons, reducing friction and improving joint efficiency. But bones don't do it all alone. Every great structure needs cushioning, and that's where cartilage comes in. Think of cartilage as nature's shock absorber, preventing bones from grinding each other while ensuring smooth movement. It comes in three forms, each with a distinct purpose. Hyaline cartilage, the most common type, is found in joints, the nose, and the trachea, providing a sleek, friction-free surface. Elastic cartilage, found in the ears, offers flexibility, allowing this structure to bend and return to its original shape. Lastly, fibrocartilage is the toughest of the three, which is also found in the intervertebral discs and knee menisci, acting as a built-in cushion against impact. Without cartilage, even the simplest movements would be painful. Now, let's talk about the ligaments, the heroes that hold everything together. If bones are framework, then ligaments are the strong cables that keep them in place. These tough, fibrous tissues connect bones at joints, ensuring they move within a safe range. Without ligaments, our knees would wobble, our shoulders would be unstable, and simple tasks like walking or picking up objects would be nearly impossible. Speaking of movement, let's shift our focus to joints, the true engines of mobility. They come in different types, each with its own range of motion. Fibrous joints, such as those in the skull, are immovable, acting as strong, interlocking structures. Cartilaginous joints, like those between the vertebrae, allow limited but essential movement, giving our spine its flexibility. The real stars of movement, however, are synovial joints. These include the knee, shoulder, and hip, allowing for the dynamic motion we rely on every day, from bending and lifting to running and jumping.
And now, let's move on to the exciting parts. Let's start with the axial skeleton, which provides the core support for the body and protection for vital organs. First up is the skull. The skull is made up of 22 bones. Yep, 22. That includes the cranium, which acts like a hard helmet, protecting your brain from injury. But the skull isn't just about protection. It also includes the facial bones, which give your face its shape and hold important structures like your nose and jaw in place. Oh, and did you know that your skull also houses your sensory organs? Wow! That's right. Your eyes, ears, and nose are all positioned within the skull. Plus, the joints in your skull are called sutures, and they're fused together, which is why your skull doesn't have any flexibility. But that's actually a good thing. You don't want your brain bouncing around, right? Also, fun fact, when babies are born, their skull bones aren't fully fused yet. That's why they have soft spots called fontanelles that eventually close as they grow. Cool, huh? Let's move down to the vertebral column, or what we commonly know as the spine. It is the backbone of the body. Literally, it is made up of 33 vertebrae stacked one on top of the other, forming a protective tunnel for the spinal cord. The spinal cord is like the body's superhighway for information, as it sends signals from your brain to the rest of your body and back again. The spine is divided into 5 regions. First up is the cervical, the neck area. This part supports your head and lets you turn it from side to side. Try nodding or shaking your head. That's your cervical spine at work. Next up is the thoracic. It is the upper back. This part connects to your ribs and helps protect your chest organs. Another one is the lumbar. This is the lower back. It supports most of your body's weight, which is why it is prone to strain when you lift something heavy. Another is the sacrum. It is a triangular-shaped bone at the base of your spine, connecting to your pelvis. And last but not the least, we have the coccyx. It is also known as the tailbone, and this tiny part helps with balance and sitting. Did you know that astronauts grow taller in space because their vertebrae expand without the pressure of gravity? But don't worry, they shrink back to normal when they return to Earth.
Now let's move on to the appendicular part of the skeletal system. But before that, let's take note that the appendicular part of the skeletal system includes the limb bone and the structure that attach it into the actual bones.
Enjoy walking, waving, flexing, or dramatically throwing your hands in the air, you can thank your appendicular skeleton. Unlike the actual skeleton, which keeps us upright and protects vital organs, the appendicular skeleton is all about movement. It includes the upper limbs, the shoulders, arms, and hands, the pelvic girdle, and the lower limbs, the legs and feet. Basically, it's the reason we can high-five, run, or more importantly, grab snacks. So let's break it down. First up, the upper limbs, which include some of the most flexible and dexterous bones in the body. We're talking about the clavicle, scapula, humerus, radius, ulna, carpals, metacarpals, and phalanges. Well, that's a lot of bones for just 2 arms, but hey, who's counting? Oh, right, we are. To begin, let's talk about the shoulder bones, where all arm movement starts. First is the clavicle, or what we commonly refer to as your collarbone. This long, thin bone acts like a brace between your sternum and scapula. It keeps your shoulders stable and prevents them from collapsing inward. Think of it like the reinforcement bar in a bridge. Without it, things might get a little wobbly. Next is the scapula, or the shoulder blade. A large, triangular bone that serves as a muscle attachment point and allows for a huge range of motion. It's basically a fidget spinner for your arm, super mobile but still anchored in place. Now let's move down to the arm itself. First is the humerus, the longest bone in your arm connecting your shoulder to your forearm. Also responsible for that awful funny bone feeling when you accidentally hit your elbow. Except it's not funny. It's just your ulnar nerve being overly dramatic. Next is the radius and ulna. These 2 bones form the forearm and work as a team. The radius being the mover. When you twist your wrist, it crosses over the ulna, allowing your hand to rotate, like turning a doorknob. Meanwhile, the ulna is a steady supporter. It stays in place, providing stability, much like a trusty sidekick, backing up the action while the radius does all the fancy movements. Together, they let your wrist twist, flex, and perform all sorts of intricate motions with ease. And finally, let's talk about the hands, the ultimate multitaskers. The first bone being the carpals, or your wrist bone, with 8 tiny bones that allows wrist movement. You can think of them as the hinges in your favorite action figure. Next is the metacarpals, or the hand bones. 5 bones that form the palm of your hand, aka the part that gives awesome high fives. Next is the phalanges, or the finger bones. 14 tiny bones that allows you to write, type, and point aggressively at things.
Finally,
So why
let's wrap up
14
with
when
the
you have
sacrum
5
and
fingers
coccyx,
each?
the unsung
Fun
heroes
fact,
of the skeleton.
your thumb only has
The
2
sacrum
phalanges
is a
while the other
large,
fingers
wedge-shaped bone at the
Why?
base of the spine
Because
that connects to the
nature
pelvis.
loves efficiency.
It is super strong because
With
it
this
has to
bones,
support
you
the
can
weight
hold a
of your upper
pencil,
body
tie
when you
your
stand or
shoelaces,
walk.
and even do jazz
That's a lot
hands.
of pressure.
Pretty cool, right?
On the other hand, the
Together,
coccyx or
these bones
tailbone
gives us
is
strength,
small but
flexibility,
mighty.
and
It helps
precision.
with balance when you sit,
Perfect for
and it's
everything from
also
writing
where some key ligaments and muscles
waving
are
awkwardly
attached.
as someone who
If you've
hasn't
ever
actually
fallen and
waving.
landed on your tailbone,
Yikes.
yeah, you know how painful that can be.
Next up, we have
And
the
here's a weird
pelvic
fact.
girdle,
Some
also known
scientists
as the
believe that
pelvis,
the coccyx
the structure
is a
that connects your
vestigial
upper
structure,
body to your lower
meaning
body.
it's a leftover
It's made
from
out
when
of
our
3
ancestors
fused
had
bones,
tails.
the ilium,
But no,
ischium,
we're not
and the
about to grow a
pubis.
tail anytime soon.
Well, yes, a lot of
Your
fancy
body's
names.
history is hidden in the
The
skeleton.
pelvis is like a strong,
So, there you have
weight-bearing
it.
bowl
The
that supports
exoskeleton in
spine,
action.
transfers
From
body
protecting
weight
your
to the
brain and
legs,
heart to helping
protects
you sit
vital
and stand.
organs like
It's
the
pretty
bladder
clear how
and
important it
intestines,
is.
plays a
Next
huge
time you
role
sit
in
down and
movements,
twist your back,
and where the
thank
femur
your
connects.
exoskeleton for
Think
holding
of
it
it
all
as the
together.
middle manager of the skeletal system. While not always appreciated, but still absolutely necessary. Also, did you know that male and female pelvises are shaped differently? Female pelvises are tend to be wider to make childbirth easier, while male pelvises are narrower. Alright, now that we've covered the central support system, let's head down to the lower limbs. Finally, the bones that let us stand, walk, jump, and dance skillfully or not so skillfully. Starting at the top, the thigh bone, or the femur. The longest, strongest, and heaviest bone in the human body. It connects the pelvis to the lower leg and carries most of your body weight. Without it, walking would be challenging to say the least. Next is the patella, or the kneecap, a triangular bone that protects the knee joint and helps your leg extend more efficiently. Basically, it's your built-in shock absorber. Next is your tibia and fibula. Much like your radius and ulna, they will also work as a team. The tibia, or your shin bone, is the main weight-bearing bone of the lower leg. If you've ever banged your shin in furniture, you would know how sensitive they could be. Ouch. Meanwhile, the fibula is a thinner bone next to the tibia that provides stability and support but doesn't bear much weight, kind of like a supporting actor in an award-winning movie. And at the bottom, the foot and toes. The first bone being your tarsal or your ankle bone, this bone forms the foundation of your foot, including the calcaneus or the heel bone, which absorbs most of the impact when you walk or run. Next is the metatarsals, or the midfoot bones. These bones help form the arch of the foot, and without them, walking would feel like stepping on a pool noodle. And last but definitely not the least is the phalanges, or your toe bones. These small but mighty bones help with balance, grip, and stability. Basically, your toes are tiny gymnasts. And thanks to your lower limbs, you can walk, run, and do the cha-cha whenever the mood strikes. So, what did we learn today? The appendicular skeleton is the ultimate enabler of movement. Whether it's your upper limbs giving you dexterity, the pelvic girdle providing support, or the lower limbs keeping us upright and mobile, this skeletal system is essential for daily life. Now, next time you take a step, wave at a friend, or pick up your phone, just remember you owe it all in your appendicular skeleton. Pretty cool, right?
Beyond movement and structure, the skeletal system also performs essential functions including support, protection, muscle movement, mineral storage, blood cell production, and fat storage.
First and foremost, the skeletal system provides support, giving our body its shape and posture. The vertebral column is the central pillar that keeps us upright, while the rib cage forms a sturdy enclosure, allowing us to breathe without crushing our organs. Without this structure, movement and stability would be impossible. Next on the list is protection, which is just as important as the first one. The skull shields the brain, preventing fatal injuries. The ribs and sternum act as a cage for the heart and lungs, absorbing impact. The vertebrae protects the spinal cord, ensuring the body's communication system stays intact. Even the pelvis serves as an armor, guarding the reproductive and digestive organs. Without this natural defense, even minor accidents would be life-threatening. But the skeletal system is not just about standing still. It is also about facilitating movement. Bones act as levers, joints function as pivot points, and muscles provide the force. Cartilage reduces the friction, preventing painful bone-on-bone contact, while ligaments stabilize joints, keeping them from overextending or dislocating. Every step we take, every motion we make is thanks to the system working in perfect harmony. Beyond movement, the skeletal system serves as a storage center for minerals. Calcium and phosphorus, which are essential for bones, muscle contraction, and nerve function, are stored and released as needed. Without this mineral reserve, basic bodily functions would break down. Deep inside certain bones, red bone marrow produces blood cells. Red blood cells transport oxygen, while white blood cells fight infections. And platelets help in clotting. Without this function, oxygen delivery, immunity, and healing would be severely compromised. And lastly, the skeletal system also plays a hidden role in energy storage. Yellow bone marrow stores fat, providing fuel when the body is in need. Even more surprising, bones produce osteocalcin, a hormone that helps regulate metabolism and fat storage.
Like any other systems in the body, the skeletal system is also prone to disorders. Some of these conditions include osteoporosis, a condition where the bone becomes weak and brittle due to calcium loss. Arthritis, the inflammation of joints including osteoarthritis, the wear and tear of joints over time, and rheumatoid arthritis, an autoimmune disorder where the body mistakenly adapts its own joint tissues. And gout, a buildup of uric acid crystals in the joints causing pain and swelling. Fractures, the breaks and cracks in the bones due to trauma and stress. Scoliosis, an abnormal curvature of the spine that affects the posture. Rickets, a condition in children caused by vitamin D deficiency, causing soft bones and delayed growth.
The good news is, you can take care of your bones with simple steps like proper nutrition, regular exercise, healthy lifestyle choices, and good posture. For proper nutrition, eat foods rich in calcium like milk, cheese, green vegetables, and taking vitamin D from sunlight, fish, and eggs to strengthen bones. For regular exercise, weight-bearing activities like walking, running, and resistance training increase bone density. To have healthy lifestyle, avoid smoking and excessive alcohol drinking, which weaken bones. To have a good posture, sitting and standing properly reduces stress in spine and joints. Your skeletal system is your body's ultimate foundation. Take care of it and it will keep you moving strong for a lifetime.
Thank you for watching, and remember, stay active, eat right, and keep your bones strong.